athletes where their legs are used a lot, and with runners their feet are used a lot. So I thought I would just show a few things today about just little ideas that you might have to help out a runner that you might know, or if they're in the family, if this pertains to you. It's good work regardless of, you know, whether you take part in any kind of sport, but those of us that do stay active, it's very nice to have some kind of work done on your body to maintain that. And I will say that the more subtle the work, like the cranial work, the more the body is going to hold together. And it gets to a point where it's actually pretty nice, because it feels like when you're well trained in something, you have the muscle memory, and then when you can get your body to move like you did when you were very young, you've got the best of both worlds in that one. And I noticed that with the physical activity that I'm involved in. It's a lot of very freedom, movement, and strength, coordination, and grace, all kind of wrapped up into the movement, which wasn't like that when I was younger. So I'm just going to do some just like normal feet work. Pay attention to areas that might be, you know, sore. If there's tennis shoes, if there's calloused areas, you want to know that that's parts where weight-bearing loads are happening. Just the arch. This is just real basic stuff, but it's very beneficial and nice. Also, too, is a lot of times I know partners like to rub each other's feet. That's a really nice thing to do, to take care of one another. The feet do a lot for us, and yet we neglect them. So it is nice to pay attention to them and have somebody else pay attention to them for us, because it's kind of awkward to rub your own feet. You end up getting cramps in your legs and hips because sometimes the foot is a long way to go to reach the hands. And then checking the calf. Just check the calf and see if there's any tightness. You can lift the calf up, particularly if they're running. You can do a stretch for the leg where it's pushing this in. You want to be careful with this. Be sure that there's an alignment between the toe and the knee. You're not taking it out of that alignment, particularly like that. The toe is outside or inside of that knee. You want to be sure that the knee is bending. It's a hinge joint. It needs to have the stable point below it. It doesn't like to be torqued. And stretch. To turn out any torquing should be coming from the hip. You can lift up, over, and you can take it this way and this way. And up. There's a bit of stiffness in her rotation in the hip. You can also take this leg up and take the foot downward again, watching that alignment. And you can really tell a lot here about how how flexible their feet are, and even how aligned their feet are. And then we'll take them back, toe curling, back down. And then you can move into the calf, or the thigh, the hamstring, and check all that out. You know, when people are taking care of themselves on a regular basis, the maintenance becomes less and less, because the muscles are coming into a new memory. So the work doesn't require quite as much effort once the body is being maintained well. Massage has its boundaries for what it works best with and what it's good for. And then other subtle modalities, there's some other very good ones, which I share two of, I feel, the very basic modalities for getting started toward health, because it will resituate and sedate the nervous system so the stress can go away, and then we'll also be moving fluids with the lymph work to get the toxins out of the body. So you have, with cranial work, the nervous system, and then with lymph work, the fluids. That's a good place to start if you're really thinking about getting into a more healthier lifestyle or a healthier way of eating. Because we should help our body along Vitalistic medicine is one where they basically say that it's about observing the body and then helping it with what it needs. A lot of modalities, they don't want to break fever, or they don't want to suppress fevers from happening. You want to watch it if it's too high. A lot of vitalist old medicine people would be, you know, using tepid baths to control the fever, but they want it to get hot because that's activating the immune system to do its job. The immune system can handle a lot when it is strong. We've got to work on some hip rotation there. That's very tight. And just work the foot. Runners who are in shoes, their feet will get a little stiffer as well because they spend so much time in the shoe. So it's real important to keep that foot real pliable. We want to have feet that move. They're designed to be on rough surfaces. They're really not designed to walk on a flat surface for very long. They are designed to walk on rough surfaces. And they should be exercised like that. So even if you can just get out in your front yard and walk around in the grass with your bare feet, you'll find it just nice, not only for the feet, but also there's a connection to the dirt and all of that, to the nature of earth and all that. There's a connection that we make with that. And then this is just general, basic, just mostly a petrissage move, and I'm checking for any tightness, but there's not a lot of that in this body anymore because this body gets worked very regular. But even though it does, it still does come up and show areas that need attention. And I'm just brushing off the feet here. And you can shake the legs a little. And you can also pull the feet from this direction. There's two ways of pulling. There's like pull, where you're pulling on the bones and everything. And then there's another one where you just lightly lift up. And it's more of a fascial stretch and kind of an arcing feeling. And I'm just accessing that fascial stretch and pulling it from there. And it's a completely different feeling because it's not like somebody pulling against you. It's more like they're pulling you like you're on a piece of elastic. And this is a stretch. It's coming out of the front of her feet and stretching more up the front of her leg. And when she's on her back, then it would be coming up the back. The pull, the intentional pull, is in somewhat of an arc. So you're pulling out and intending for this arc to happen, and you can begin to feel it as you work it a little bit more. Again, there's a lot more to that little bit of a technique than just that, but you can start to play with that and see what you find. Okay.